Hey, everybody. I hope and pray that you're doing well today as we come to our word from the word. And today that word is seize. Seize. Now, this passage it's very special. We're going to look at just one verse today. But as you look through Genesis 16, you see really a shifting point. And this is stuff that our world is still feeling the effects of this sin today. As you go through here, you will see that Abram and Sarah comes up with the idea, and there's a lot of things that we could say through all of this, and not blaming Sarah. Abram should have been the one. He got the word from the Lord. He should have been the one to stand up and say, "No, we're not going to do that." As the head of the home, that's what he should have done. Sarah comes up with this idea, says, "Look, and it's in their minds. They thought they were helping the plan of God." And let's be honest, there's many times that we would do the same things. We would talk about it and listen to each other, even within a marriage or friends or coworkers or whoever. If they know this word that you've received from the Lord, is okay. Well, maybe God's waiting, right? You would make up the excuses and the reasons. Maybe God's waiting for us to make this decision on our own, or He's expecting us to take this into our own hands. Satan will try to play and pray on what God has told us and try to get us involved in the solution when actually all we're doing is creating more problems. If God said that He was going to provide, then He was going to provide it, and He was going to provide it through Abram and Sarah. And you'll see that through this passage, when she comes up, Sarah says, "Look, since it hasn't happened with me, and I can't give you any children, here have my maidservant Hagar." Well, you do a little looking back and you say, well, where did Hagar come from? Well, she was from Egypt. And remember, they shouldn't have went to Egypt in the first place. So that was part of the things that Pharaoh had given them, was she was given a maidservant then. So had they not had they not messed up before, they wouldn't have been in Egypt in the first place. And then Hagar would not be with them. So maybe this idea never would have come to light. Having said that, now she says, well, hey, you just go ahead and you sleep with Hagar, and maybe she'll give you a child. She does get pregnant. She begins to look at Sarah some kind of way. Sarah's upset. Abram says, well, treat her however you want to. That wasn't the right answer either. She treats her horribly enough that Hagar flees. She leaves. Now, you imagine Hagar that's been brought into this situation, and her role in all of this, maybe a little bit more subservient, almost forced to do this. And then you see the result of this. The angel of the Lord meets her where she's at, tells her, hey, I'm going to bless your child, but I'm going to need you to go back. There's some things that I need you to do for now, and you need to stick it out. But her response is the one thing we're going to look at today. With that word seize today, just look in verse 13 alone today of Genesis 16. Then she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her. You are the God who sees. For she said, have I also here seen him who sees me? This, as you will see in some translations, is known in Hebrew as Jehovah El Roi, R-O-I. And it's the God who sees, or the God who sees me. And looking at this, and there are those say, well, she shouldn't have renamed God, and we won't even deal with that right now. The whole thing is that she is saying, this is the God who sees me where I'm at. Doesn't mean that he's going to leave her there, because obviously he tells her, hey, I need you to go back. I have a plan for you. I have things in store for you. But what an encouragement. And I pray this is an encouragement for you today, that we have a God and we serve a God who sees us, who knows everything that's going on. You notice that he didn't get out there and the angel of the Lord come to her and say, hey, Hagar, what you doing? What's going on? What's wrong? How'd you get in this circumstance? Well, why'd you do that? What decisions were made? No. The angel of the Lord comes to her and tells her exactly what she needed to hear, because he already knew the entire situation. How else could that be if it wasn't from a God who sees? So Hagar says, I mean, she even kind of asked that question to herself: have I actually seen the one who sees me? Most of the time when you see in the Old Testament, you see that it says the angel of the Lord. That is a pre-incarnate Christ who came and was delivering a message directly to her. So the fact that she would see the angel of the Lord and to have this experience was giving her the encouragement that God knew her pain. God knew what she had already faced. But also above that, God knew what she was going to face. God knew what her son was going to face, what her son was going to do. And he even says that, hey, your descendants are now going to be multiplied as well. But your son, he's going to be a wild one. And from this child is where you get basically the whole Arab nation today. And then you have from Isaac that comes later. From Ishmael comes the whole Arab line, and from Isaac comes the whole Jewish line. And you still have that fighting and battle going on today. All because Abraham and Sarah, one, shouldn't have went to Egypt in the first place, and two, even if that's not how Hagar got into the picture, they surely shouldn't have, in this instance, shouldn't have tried to go ahead of the plan of God and do the things as they saw fit. Instead, Abram and Sarah should have said, God sees us. God knows what trouble we have, and so if he wants to fulfill his promise, then we'll just rely on him. Don't things usually go better when we rely on God instead of trying to go ahead of him and make plans ourselves? Today, don't be tempted by the devil. Don't be tempted by the world around you to believe that more than what God has told you. If God's told you he wants you to do something to accomplish his will, then do it. But if God has told you to wait while he accomplishes his will, then wait. We're impatient people. Abram and Sarah were impatient people. They end up waiting for many years for the promises of God, but it comes. We are waiting today for the promise of God, for the return, for the second coming of Christ, for the rapture and the second coming of Christ. We are still waiting for that promise today. But just because he has waited does not mean he is slack concerning his promise, as Peter tells us. He wants all to come to salvation. Today, understand that God knows what you're going through and God sees you. Don't let Satan ever make you think you're alone. God sees, God knows. And even still, asks us, even commands us to call on him in prayer, telling him what's on our heart, even though he already knows. Aren't you thankful today that we serve a God who sees? God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.